Let's go.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Scribes and Scrolls. I forgot to change the name of the game in the Twitch thing, so it thinks that we are playing D&D, and it thinks that we're playing a charity fundraiser game, which we are not.
Wow.
That's right, we're still running on that clout.
We are a charity. We are just a charity for us. For MTD.
Yeah.
While Jake is typing furiously, check us out on teespring.com. At teespring.com, we have all kinds of cool t-shirts like our MTD logo, our class t-shirts, our cool Paradise Michigan t-shirts, and so many more. You can get them on t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, coffee mugs, and even stickers. Check us out on teespring.com. Just search Mini Terrain Domain.
Joke.
Almost perfect.
Damn it.
And if you're a brand looking for a voice actor to read your ad live on stream, Cari Scholtens is available. Inquire for rates.
For the low price of something.
Okay, so this is Scribes and Scrolls. This is Book 7, Under a Red Moon, Chapter 86, Welcome to Warmouth. And we will get into a recap and the game proper in just a moment. First and foremost, at the very top of the hour, I am going to promote not the charity stream directly that we were promoting for a few weeks, but I will promote the fact that the VOD is currently available on YouTube. And, okay, there it goes. It is currently available on YouTube, and the donations are live. Make sure that works. The donations are still live, but we had a very successful game with Todd Stashwick, the DM, Matthew Lillard, Mika Burton, Jack Quaid, Tawny Newsome, and special guests Chuck Lazaro and Mike Steinbach, who both combined donated $8,250 to play in that game. We raised during the game $24,029.69. So we raised a total of $32,279.69
Nice.
in 5 hours. It was incredible. It was an amazing thing to be a part of. And all of that money is going to benefit the Pavlov Foundation in their fight against childhood cancer. You can type !Pavlov in the chat to learn more about Pavlov and what their mission is. And like I said, we're going to keep the fundraising going for a while. There's some incredible opportunities for if you donate a large sum of money. You can play in a game with Todd Stashwick and friends. You can have a Zoom cocktail hour with Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid. I'll just say this. When the first one went, Matthew Lillard donated one of his $150 bottles of bourbon that just launched today. And he's going to do it again. So it was very awesome to be a part of this weekend and to see the amazing outpouring of love, not only from the MTD community, but we had so many people that were here that were new to the community, and some that may be showing up from time to time because we gained a whole bunch of new followers to the domain. So let's continue to show everybody how awesome Mini Terrain Domain's community is and welcome people in. The other thing, as we move on into this game, is you look up above M's head, you can see we have some little books, little magical books. Some of them are going to vanish for a moment here. They just bumped the number up. Those are domain tomes. Those are a way that you, the audience, can have an impact on the game. Subscribing, gift subs, resubscribing, tipping, cheering 500 bits, all that kind of stuff earns them these that they can use to affect the game in various ways. So let's see what else. I'm just going to jump right into just reminding everybody that we, as players, have safety tools in place. We keep an eye on one another and make sure that we are honoring everybody's lines and veils, and we have systems in place in case something comes up, so that we can keep each other safe. Sometimes the language and the situations might get a little intense. If that's not for you, go watch the VOD of the charity game on YouTube instead.
Yes.
That's a lot more wholesome. Not that this isn't wholesome at times, but I'm just saying. That game was deliberately PG-13. The last thing I want to mention, as we do before all of our games, is a reminder that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether you believe it or not, doesn't matter. You matter. There are many reasons why you might be struggling. Just know that you don't have to struggle alone. You can come here at any time and you can type into our chat !help, and a couple of URLs will pop up, findahelpline.com, or you can check out takethis.org's growing list of resources. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, Cari, what time is it?
It's time to find some paths, bitches.
All right. My music cue didn't fire off for some reason. It's still not firing off. Just there we go.
Damn it.
Yeah, it was supposed to be an epic as you said that the music went off. So just imagine that happened like it was supposed to.
Let's just pretend.
So most recently, your group of adventurers had a mysterious young winged girl, an Asimar girl of about 16, crash land on the deck of your airship, the Zephyrhawk. You then had some orcs riding wyverns show up demanding that you turn over the girl. You refused. Things got sketchy for a little bit, but it ended with a wyvern being, I believe, completely beheaded and its rider falling to its death. A fire drake appearing and scourging another one. Another one was commanded to leave the scene. And one tried to drag Kane off and drop him 3,000 feet. But the combined efforts of everyone made sure that didn't happen, and that wyvern was dealt with. While some people were falling, you also managed to fall far enough to deal with the original leader, and you wiped out all four of the what you later found were known as the Stingwing, a group of mercenaries that ride wyverns. However, the ship had sustained a little bit of damage, and in the heroic efforts of saving Kane and Vornush'ka, Flip handed the helm of the Zephyrhawk over to Marda, who didn't quite know what she was doing when it came to piloting the ship. Marda successfully landed the ship, very successfully and very violently. So the ship...
I mean, success is a spectrum.
We're all alive.
The ship is currently slightly damaged and in a trench of sand, but that's for the best as you've left it behind. You walked into the city that you were heading toward, the city of Erglin in the Cinder Wastes, or the Cinderlands. Upon arriving in Erglin, you noticed that a lot of people were watching you closely, and you began to realize that they were specifically paying attention to you, Teera. It was at that point that you heard the sound of several heavy-booted feet, and about 16 orcs, 8 on each side, come around the corner, and they create this sort of V-formation corridor separating the rest of the crowd of people that's mostly orcs and half-orcs with a few pink skins, as they're called, scattered throughout, even a couple of ogrekin and giantkin. And that's when 3 hulking orc figures in armor appeared, wearing helmets, and one of them spoke up and said something to the effect of, well, the last thing I expected to see here was a little white rabbit. And he pulled off his helmet. It was none other than Roniker, your quote-unquote cousin from the tribe that you grew up in, Teera. Removing their helmets, you will realize that the two flanking him are none other than Yeltha and Rhaegar, the two that he has been with since he was a young orc. And that's where we left off, and that is where we are now picking up on this. You are in the city of Erglin. I cannot think of any better way to explain what this sort of, to set the scene is, than it's very much like Mos Eisley depicted in Star Wars. It's a desert town, not a lot of tall structures. There are a couple, but there are. It's not a gated city, so you kind of just walk into the city. And as you get into this area where you started to enter in on this main thoroughfare, there's a lot of people here, just in general. And the crowd definitely is starting to gather as this war chief Roniker has come out to confront these new visitors to town. And we sort of see this scene. Roniker has just addressed you. They've taken off their helmets. What do you do?
So I would imagine that as he removes his helmet, you for a half a second you guys see Teera like the muscles in her back kind of go tense. And then she kind of like slumps a little bit and puts her head off to the side and just like, oh, hello, cousin. Can't say I figured we'd run into you here either.
You managed to keep some interesting company these days.
And Teera would kind of like look around at the mass of people and be like, as do you. I see that the northern wastes were a little bit too harsh for the roving wolves to remain, eh?
In response to this, he takes 4 quick steps forward. Rhaegar and Yeltha immediately moving, both of them putting their hands on either the hilt of an axe, the handle of an axe, or the hilt of a sword. Roniker takes 4 big strides until he is standing in front of you, staring down at you. Despite your 6'3" height, Roniker is a full-grown orc looking down on you, and he's close enough to force you to have to look up at him. He breathes hot air out his nose for a moment.
Teera has not
suddenly,
even gone for her sword, I feel the need to point out.
And
she
then
just kind of
suddenly,
like crosses her arms.
He clasps his hands on both of your shoulders and kind of pushes you back away from him at arm's length. It's actually really good to see you, cousin. We have much to talk about.
And Teera is doing her best to like hide her surprise at this reaction from him. And she kind of like squints, almost like he's speaking a language she doesn't expect to come out of his mouth. And she kind of like reaches up and has to reach up and puts her hands on his shoulders. Be like, and just kind of like laughs almost and be like, we have much to discuss.
Well, with us then, you and your friends. And he
I
turns.
kind of like turn and I would turn to my friends and look at them and kind of give them a nod that we're safe at least for now.
He turns and just starts walking back the way he came. Rhaegar immediately turns and follows right on his heels, but Yeltha hesitates for a moment. You see her looking at you, sizing you up, And then she just kind of gives a snort of derision and turns to follow Rhaegar and Roniker. And as you all start following them, the ranks of orc soldiers fall in behind you and sort of enclose you away from the crowd as they lead you, are leading you through the streets. You have a few moments if you would all like to talk amongst yourselves while you are walking to who knows where.
So, yeah. Teera just doesn't say anything, doesn't offer anything, I would say.
Vornush'ka is going to look at Teera and say, friends of yours?
Teera would kind of smile, a very wry smile, and would just say, family, actually. Adopted, of course.
Orc families, they're all the same. This frenemy tension.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more enemy than friend. And Teera would lean to Vornush'ka and say in Orcish, explain that back in the day when they were young, Roniker led her into a trap and tried to have her killed. And that was just kind of an underpinning of their relationship forever. And that's kind of, and it explains who the other two are and so on and so on.
And, Vornush'ka would understand that story and, not to one up you, but Vorn led the whole tribe into a trap. Ended up my mother dying, so it's just family is family. Take them or love them, or kill them and take their position.
Just to clarify, you think those two things are equivalent? Those two scenarios there, Vornush'ka? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I was trying to explain.
Because you said that you didn't want to one-up Teera, but then you told a story about betrayal, and it feels like you were trying to say, "Oh, I too know what betrayal is." But those two things, you recognize that those two stories were in no way the same, right?
It's a matter of perspective, but...
Do you understand how they're different?
Sure, tell me about how my life experience is different, please.
Yes, great. I will let you know how your life experience does not align with this story. So, Teera was talking about how her family tried to lead her into a trap, and you were saying that your brother Vorn blundered into a trap, potentially through incompetence. You didn't say that, but then your mother died. So, he didn't purposely betray you in the same way. He didn't
First of all,
yeah,
you can speak Orcish.
Yeah.
Teera's eyes kind of get big. Did we know that? I think we did know that, actually. No, we knew you spoke Giant. We did not know you spoke Orcish, you sneaky son of a bitch.
Secondly...
I never said that I didn't speak Orcish. You never asked. I seem to be taking an interest in your backstories, but none of you give a shit about mine.
We've asked, Flip, but you never tell us anything.
I wasn't done with my story, Flip. There's a second part of it in which I became the Orc tribe leader, and then my brother, other half-brother, tried to take my position during the time of mourning. Also betrayal, because he said he wouldn't do it.
So it was...
I was just trying to say I understand family tension, Tim.
All right,
Thank you, Vornush'ka.
It was the second part that actually was the betrayal. The first part was the incompetence. The second part was the betrayal.
It was emotional betrayal because Vorn betrayed his tribe for his lover.
And that led directly to your mother's death?
And Vornush'ka gets really stirred and she goes directly to our mother's death.
Well, this doesn't happen often, but it seems like I stand corrected.
I mean, you have a point.
They are the same.
Normally, Teera would interject herself and normally separate these two as she feels there's about to be fisticuffs, but she is not. She's just kind of walking ahead of the argument.
At best, they'll be foot to chest.
Fistic.
I mean, at worst, they'll be fist to groin, or teeth to inner thigh, and not in the fun way.
It's always fun. Anyways,
And Teera would be walking behind Ronaker and kind of be like looking with this like new revelation. She seems like she's feeling pretty safe with him. She's more concerned with Yeltha and Rhaegar. She's like watching them for their body language, and if Ronaker if this is all bullshit and this is another trap, he's not going to be the one to give it away. It's going to be Rhaegar or Yeltha, probably.
Okay. So you're
Following them.
keeping an eye on them. I will say that you definitely notice that Yeltha deliberately and Rhaegar maybe just incidentally have created a barrier between you and Ronaker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I guess as they can I real quick as we walk, I would be like talking up and kind of seeing this barrier being formed. Teera would kind of be like, "It's good to see you too, Yeltha. I can see why you're a little pissed off. After all, you know, I did betray you when you were just a child and all that. Oh, wait a minute, it was the other way around, wasn't it? Eh?" And then Teera would flat tire Yeltha. Oops. Sorry.
All right, so I'm gonna need you to make a roll. And I think what I want you to make is I want you to make an intimidation check.
Oh. Damn. Okay. It's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20, so that's versus... Okay, so as you kind of step on the back of her foot, you see her stumble step, and you see her look back over her shoulder, and she does that. You see her tusks sort of pressing into her cheeks, like she is literally just biting back, saying something.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just turns and says, "I've grown out of such petty, childish things. We live in a much more serious world."
Teera would turn to her group and be like give like a look like, "Oh, so serious," like kind of like, yeah.
Marda, since you entered the city, Cleandra has been pretty much sticking to your side, and she would have reached for your hand if you would have allowed her to grab it when you entered in. You would also notice that as you entered the city, for the most part, she still looks exactly like this girl that you met that crashed on your ship, except her wings have shifted and now look like more like a cloak than actual wings, and the iridescent colors have been muted. They're not as prominent. But otherwise, she doesn't say anything.
You cut out for me at iridescent colors have.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
These dang internet lags. The iridescent colors are muted. They're still there, but they're very dull, so she doesn't stand out as much. She basically altered her appearance very slightly on the fly as you all approach the city.
Yeah, Marta would have accepted. Well, I think it's a little hard to hold Marta's hand because she's so small. So I don't think that. But she would invite her to like hold on to the staff that Marta has, just kind of as an anchor point for her, kind of understanding that she might need that.
And you see her looking around with wide eyes, looking almost like a wild animal that is surrounded by enemies.
Marta will be walking, and there was one time when my sister and I stole what we thought was a small flask of wine, only to run from the merchant, go around the corner, and after drinking it, realizing that it was not, in fact, wine, but a very expensive magic potion. And we had to spend the next few hours trying not to float off into space or into the air, as whatever it was not letting us stay on the ground. And so there was a lot of trying to grab onto different stones and rocks and people, very surprised people. So she kind of smiles. She's trying to like calm her a little bit. And so the moral of the story is not don't steal, but always sniff your drinks and flasks before you consume it to make sure it is actually wine.
You see that as you're telling this story, and in particular when you get to that final moral, that she's looking around less nervously and actually starts to kind of looks down at you a couple times. And you see that she, for the most part, you've succeeded in distracting her. But she doesn't really get the moral. She's kind of like, okay.
I'm 16.
Teaching her how to steal.
Yeah, and drink. 2 great lessons.
Yeah. I would like anybody who would have a recall knowledge of either history. I would say probably actually history or bardic lore, for specifically to do with knowing and being familiar with orc tribes in the northern regions.
Well, I suppose I can roll that.
So that might be like
that's just a lore check. I never get to roll these, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's a recall knowledge check, so you're actually going to be rolling either. I'm thinking it's going to be
lore warfare.
That would work.
Okay.
Lore warfare or lorefare.
What about
Shit the bed? I got a 1.
I got lore orc. Would that work too?
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
obviously. I got a nat 1.
Oh, society would work as well.
I got a 30. 18 plus 12.
Okay. Flip, are you making the check?
I got a 34. And please
Didn't want
don't
us to feel
forget
bad.
that as a know-it-all, I have potential to gain extra information from a recall knowledge check.
Oh, I've got your extra information.
Oh yeah.
Queued
Nice.
up.
So
Talk dirty to me, GM.
I'm going to give you that good extra information.
That good lore.
But first,
You
I'm
guys
going to
are too
give you
much.
the lore that both you and Vornush'ka pick up on. Teera, I think,
I'm too busy being a dick.
Teera is too busy mean girling against
How
Yeltha.
dare you? It's not mean girling if she started it.
I don't think she did, though.
She tried to kill me.
Okay, that was 16 years ago. Actually, more than 16 years
That
ago.
was so long
That was
ago.
like
Who remembers?
like almost 30 years ago.
Okay.
Gosh.
Jesus, let it go.
So, anyway, while Teera is mean girling Yeltha, and Marda is consoling and distracting Cleandra, and Kane is just sticking close.
along.
Kane has been very quiet during all of this. As you're moving through these streets in this region of this town called Warmouth, Flip and Vornush'ka in particular, you see, as I mentioned before, Ogren is comprised of stone ruins. They're not as ancient as the Thessalonian ruins, but they're old enough that whoever built them is long since gone. And they definitely weren't built by the orcs in this region. But all around these stone structures, and some independently standing, are various structures that have been made from wood, bone, and stretched leather and cloth. So there's a lot of these things, and you begin to see around this region of Warmouth, which is very tightly packed, you see that there are tribal flags that are out in different areas. And you see just how much of a variety of Orcish tribes have taken refuge here in Olgren. You see the Blood Trail tribe, the Broken Spine clan, the Cleft Head tribe, the Deadeye clan, the Death's Head tribe, the Defiled Corpse tribe, the Empty Hand tribe, the Gnarled Fist tribe, the Shattered Skull tribe, the Roving Wolves tribe, the Haskadar clan, and the Gutspear tribe, among others smaller that you maybe don't recognize. What you see, this extra little tidbit that you almost don't catch, and Vornush'ka misses completely, is a few blocks away, kind of in one of the higher areas, and tucked behind, it's kind of like you're seeing almost between a couple of these buildings, and one of the banners and some ragged cloth coming off of this building just sort of moves the wind, moves it up out of the way a little bit. There's literally like a 4-second window as you're moving that you could have possibly even seen this flag. You see a flag of the Blood Axe tribe.
Oh. Ooh. They're here.
Great, great, great. And can I rightfully assume, because I'm a genius, that they are intent on betraying their current/former ruler because she betrayed them to save her brother and didn't save him at all?
You can absolutely make that inference, though.
Great.
There's nothing there's nothing in the hanging of a flag that would give you that indication.
It says fuck Vornush'ka on it in blood. Sic semper tyrannis.
Flip is gonna keep this information to himself for now.
That's very big of you, Flip.
Would my blood axe, because it has ancestral lines that go back hundreds of years, would I be able, like a Highlander, sense my tribe around me?
No.
No?
You're and I would say from the blood axe, at most you just get this overwhelming, in the same way that somebody, like when you see, you're very hungry and you see a lavish food spread laid out, your stomach starts to rumble and your mouth starts to salivate. The blood axe is doing the equivalent of that. You are surrounded by so many people, and you sort of catch this whispered voice in your head from the blood axe. So much opportunity. It's not long before your group suddenly turns toward a large area of these newer made structures of bone, wood, and cloth and leather. A cluster of them that has sort of an open area in front of it, but you see that there are, as you enter this area, there are standards, the banners of the blood, or the roving wolves tribe. As you are led into the urban equivalent of a tribal longhouse. The flank of soldiers stays outside. A couple of them come just inside the door, but Roniker, Yeltha, and Rhaegar lead you all inside. And you see, as he walks in, Roniker walks over to a large bone and wood throne, or not so much a throne, but like a chair that has the appearance of a throne. It's larger than the others. And on the, like, just in front of it, there's a couple of posts that come up with large orc skulls on them. And as he walks up, he just takes his helmet and plops it down on one of them, and turns and takes a seat as Rhaegar and Yeltha take seats on either side of him. And there is a couple of tables arranged where they're sitting at. There's sort of a table in front of them. There's a couple smaller tables, and he just motions for you all to have a seat. And he snaps his fingers, and some pink-skinned servants begin laying out various foods, mostly flasks of strong, very strong liquor and ale. Right now, just a lot of like cheeses and breads and things like that, and a lot of cold but cooked meat. They weren't exactly expecting you.
Charcuterie, let's go.
But yeah, basically,
let's
you
go.
get an orcish charcuterie board.
Are there any fig jams and crackers?
Flip is going to try to get somebody's attention.
Oh God.
Whose attention?
Jesus.
A person who's serving, a person who's in charge.
Well, the person in charge is clearly Roniker.
Excuse me, someone? Hello? Anyone?
What is it, little goblin?
Oh, I was wondering if you have any fermented mare's milk in the back somewhere.
Teera laughs like out loud to herself. Like, my cousin is quite a fan of fermented yak milk.
Roll me a D100.
D100. Yeah.
Though it might be a little hard to get it in a city.
Where's the dice button? Maybe I can do it this way. Okay. 97.
In answer, Roniker points at one of the pink skins, who, in this case, most of them are human men and women. He just snaps his fingers and points at you, and a few moments later, a couple of large clay pitchers are brought out and placed on the table, and you can smell the heady aroma of fermented milk. It is not mare's milk, it is yak milk. But there you go.
Great, thanks. And Flip is gonna give the old thumbs up.
Teera would speak up and would say, "So, I think introductions are in order. Cousin and company. This is Flip with the very specific tastes."
I mean, let's be Teera. They probably know who I am already.
Most definitely do. The halfling.
Can we take a poll?
How many of you have heard of Flip?
Flip the
And-
Mighty, the
Yes.
Master of Absalom, the handsomest goblin of all,
He's
the
a
foremost legal
songsmith.
mind.
It's
A songsmith and an author.
not ringing any bells.
He's very famous in some circles.
Clearly not
I'm a
in our
stand-up
circles.
comedian
Yeah.
as well. I'm quite hilarious.
This halfling over here is Marda Grasshand. She's a friend of ours, gotten us out of a pinch or two. My green comrade is, my other green comrade here is Vornush'ka. She is a very powerful friend of mine. This is our new little friend whom we just met. And back here is my brother. His name is Kane. And everybody, this is Ronica, my adoptive cousin. His friend Riga, and his lady friend Yoltha.
We are commanders, Teera.
Oh, Commander Riga,
And it is-
Commander Yoltha, and Commander
And it is
Ronica
War
then.
Chief Ronica.
That brings up my next question. What of your beloved uncle? Does he live?
Been dead 10 years. I took over the tribe when he died.
Oh, I'm sorry. How did he go?
He was old.
Oh.
So?
He was
In the Orcish tradition, he picked a fight with another warring tribe, led the roving wolves in the battle, and he died a proud death, with his axe in his hand and another buried in his head. We burned him at pyre with both axes. As he says this, you see him, Rhaegar, and Yeltha. They sort of put their hands kind of up to their chest and just bow their head for a moment.
Teera would do like the same and would whisper something in Orcish. It's maybe a prayer, like very brief. You wouldn't know it, but be like, well, that's that's tragic. I wish I would have. I don't know. I wish there had been more time, I suppose. Anyway, it seems like you're doing well for yourself. What made you come into the city out of the wastes, eh? And Teera's drinking, by the way. Teera is on to this. There's booze and meat and cheese. Come on,
You've
she is partaking.
clearly been away for a long time. In all your time since you've been gone, what is it, 16 years? No, wait, it wasn't that long. It was 16 years since you lost your brother.
Correct. It was more like 5 years since I left, but we can tweak that a little bit. It's okay. This is why Gary doesn't write backstory.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. We can tweak things.
Yeah, he says, clearly since you left, you haven't been around other Orc tribes. Though I see you keep Orc company.
It's nice to have somebody to talk to, I suppose.
I would like anybody who wants to, forgot to do this a moment ago, while Teera was doing introductions, to make a perception check.
Can I, even though I was occupied, or no?
Yeah, because you were talking directly to these people.
Okay. Dirty 20.
22 on perception for me.
Oh my god, Ricky.
I know, I'm wasting all
go.
these rolls on side things.
No. Story matters.
18.
All right.
25.
Second, I'm
Marda sees
loading
it all.
Kane. Need to roll for Kane real quick.
By observer.
Kane's perception is 14, 26. Marda. You notice, and you actually see sort of standing nearby to you, having taken up a position on the opposite side of Cleandra, still being quiet. Kane is standing there. And there's a moment during Teera's introduction. There's two things that stand out to both you and Kane, to the point where Kane kind of just gives you like a little bit of a glance to the side, like, did you catch that?
Ooh.
One is when Teera introduces Cleandra as our new little friend whom we just met. You see Yeltha kind of cock her eyebrow and just do a slight look, like she's trying to get a closer look at her. And the other is when Teera introduces Vornush'ka. You see Roniker's eyes, kind of just his eyebrows raise up, like a clear sign that he knows that name. Other than that, he hasn't given any other indication, and he doesn't acknowledge verbally. You catch that change. You and Kane catch that change in facial expression.
Yeah, Marta's gonna kind of, from that change, is gonna keep a closer eye to see if she can see any other kinds of movement, change in anything like that as they continue to chat.
Well,
Well,
cousin, this reunion has been a delight. You said it's good we're here, and frankly, I never thought that would come out of your mouth. I assume you need something from us. And we're here to help. We're family.
you have to understand, Teera. I mean it when I say it's good to see you. I know we didn't get along when we were young, and I may have tried to kill you once or twice.
So long ago, who remembers?
What?
Flip. Gotta be honest, it's a cultural thing you wouldn't understand.
The roving wolves fractured.
You don't
It's
say.
why we're here in Orgling. Why many of the Orc tribes are here. Their tribes have fractured. Splintered groups have broken off. The reason I acknowledge that you've clearly not been around any Orc tribes, but you would have heard more about the coming dangers, the coming storm. The rising threat of Tar-Baphon, the Whispering Tyrant in the east.
Would Teera have heard of the Whispering Tyrant? Like,
Well,
I know these guys made a lore check
you
last time.
well, if they told you about it, because Cleandra told you that that's why she was being hunted, was that there were orc leaders that were trying to capture her because they know she's the last scion of the Cloud Dragon tribe.
Okay.
And that a Cloud Dragon's family fortune would fund innumerable armies.
Okay.
So that's where it's been raised. Teera
would kind of smile and be like, well, I've heard whispers, but I kind of assumed that was just kind of a myth. You know, people are always raving about the end times. Especially in tightly packed cities like this. People kind of go, you know.
Make me another lore check.
Great. Nat 20! No shit.
So, because
All right.
because you grew up with an orc tribe, here in Golarion, it is known amongst the orcs that hundreds of years ago, Tar-Baphon commanded all of the orc tribes in his first conquest, in the one that created a lot of what is now the Gravelands, creating a lot of the undead that now roam that region. In addition to controlling the undead and commanding those armies, most of the orcish tribes fought for Tar-Baphon. After Tar-Baphon was defeated and imprisoned, believing for good, eventually the orc tribes broke off. This was all hundreds of years ago, and they kind of moved into the various regions, the lands of the Mammoth Lords, but a lot of them went to a region that is northeast of here, the Hold of Belskin. And many of the orc tribes have, for years, continued to proudly proclaim their allegiance to Tar-Baphon, even if only in tattoos or markings as part of their tribal markings. The Roving Wolves was not one of those tribes. You would have heard of these stories, but your uncle, the chief, would have made it clear that the Roving Wolves would, if ever there came a time, they would never side with Tar-Baphon.
Okay.
So in this moment now, Roniker says, "We've been hearing rumblings of it for years. And about 2 or 3 years ago, well, the Whispers reached up into our region, and sad to say, there were some of our own who gladly raised their banners in support of Tar-Baphon. We fought, and many roving wolves were killed by roving wolves. It was a day my uncle would never have wanted to see. I knew then that the only answer was to break away and take what remained of those loyal to my uncle. We made our way here. And over the last couple of years, I've risen to be one of the top war chiefs in Warmouth. All of us here in Urglin are gathering as many of our tribes as we can, vowing to fight united against the rise of the Whispering Tyrant.
As he's saying this, as he's telling this story, Teera is kind of looking around now at the few other people that are in here and kind of trying to, like, now that she knows that the people that they've split, she's trying to, like, kind of take mental inventory of who she saw and who she remembers and who's missing, and, like, trying to decide, like, who was on what side as he's describing this situation.
Yeah, there's definitely some faces around here, and probably even in some of the main guard contingent that came up that you would have recognized. Broniker goes on to say, for the most part, all the tribal banners you see out here have already pledged their allegiance in the coming war. There have been some holdouts in the outer tribal regions, but they haven't, they either don't care or they're too prideful to try to do anything about us, so most of the tribes have stayed in their own regions for now, though many are moving into the hold of Belskin, be closer to the front whenever this war does erupt. There has been, well, our biggest challenge has come from one of the tribes that we thought would come to our aid. The Blood Axe tribe. Their war chief has been missing for months now.
Well,
the word is that she is presumed dead.
Oh no.
There was much infighting among them, but eventually a new war chief stepped in to lead the Blood Axe tribe. Torgal Skull Smasher.
Oh.
And he is claiming the Blood Axe tribe for Tar-Baphon. But we have recently learned of something that could aid us in the recruitment and could tip the scales in our favor. In this region of Golarion, claiming dominion above the Storval Plateau, Varesia, and the Cinderlands, for centuries, a family of cloud dragons have ruled here. The stories have reached us that this family of cloud dragons, the Heistvolk, as they are called, are all dead, but for one remaining heir. One offspring, a young dragon, less than 200 years old. If we can find that dragon and kill or control it, its ancestral wealth will belong to us, and we will be able to fund our armies. Those that we can't sway with reason, we will sway with coin and treasure. But
Teera is trying really hard to keep her face straight right now.
But every attempt so far has proven futile. I sent one of my best wizards and her wyvern riders out on patrol over the last week, and they still haven't returned.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
But if we can find her, well, Tar-Baphon won't stand a chance with that wealth at our hands.
It's quite the scheme, cousin. It's a lot of moving parts, don't you
I would
think?
like, Teera,
In my experience...
I would like you to make a
Oh, no.
deception check.
Okay.
Is there yeah, there's a deception check here.
Yeah, there sure is. Oh, I am gonna re-roll that with one tome, please. There we go, that's better.
Yes.
27.
27, hold on. I'll find my. Where's it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Veronica got a natural 20. Or a 31 on his perception.
Christ, on a trike.
Teera
would be kind of like talking him down. She would be like, if, in my experience, the more complicated a plan is, the worse it's gonna go.
He says, we've been looking for this last dragon for the better part of 6 months since we first heard about it. We've caught sightings of it here and there, but nothing concrete until I sent the Stingwing out with Drea Lamontis. Thought for sure she would return. And he kind of puts his hands on the arms of his chair and he pushes himself to his feet. It is our intention to do everything in our power to find Kleine Lugenar Volkendrak von Heisvolk. And as he says this name, I actually am going to have Clandra.
Real quick, kudos to Jake. That name, goddamn. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I mean, you hit that name with no
hesitation.
Yeah, all like you said it 1,000 times.
Jesus.
That's because while I
like
was talking, I was turning my pages back to
like
the
that
page where I have
TikTok
it
audio.
written out.
It's like that TikTok audio of Fred Rogers going, "I'm proud of you. You know that, don't you?"
I'll take it. I need Clandra to make a will check. She has a will of plus 20. She rolled a 15, which is a 35 total. And I need to find his. Make sure I'm on the right thing here. Okay. Okay. So he needs to make a roll. Next to you, Marda, you feel Clindra's hand slide down the staff and grip your hand lower down. And you feel that she is trembling. And glancing over at her for just a moment, you see from the top of her shoulders down to the bottom of these wings turned cloak, you see a shimmer of iridescent green, purple, and blue. And you actually feel for a moment her hand gripping you harder and stronger than it should be able to. You hear and feel your staff creak with the force of something very strong gripping it.
Shit.
And then suddenly the pressure releases and she looks perfectly normal. And you see Roniker looking at your group.
Great music cue.
And then he goes, "Yeah. We will get that dragon." And he looks disappointed. Like, he expected something major to happen just now. And whatever he was expecting to happen, didn't.
Nice. Well, cousin, me and my party here are pretty weary from the road. Thank you for this fine platter, and thank you for the drinks. I don't suppose you have a place where we could stay, spend the day, maybe spend the night? And then we could call it even?
Teera, the Sunmate, you are a roving wolf. This is your home as much as it is ours. You and your friends will have accommodations. We will see that you have a place in the city, and we will discuss later your position back in the tribe and how you will aid us in the coming war. And then he stands, or he continues to he's still standing. He just reaches down and grabs his helm and turns and walks out of the room with Yeltha and Rhaegar following behind. And that's where we're going to take our break.
That's a lot.
Right.
That's a lot. That's a lot. We're fucked. We gotta leave. We gotta go. We gotta get the fuck out.
Already
Wow,
overstayed our
perfect
welcome.
for us to let's hang out.
Let's grab some meat and cheese and GTFO. That's
No,
what
I
we're
think
gonna
you owe it to Vornush'ka to let her know what's going on.
do.
All right. Well, we'll see what you guys
I mean,
decide
that's up
to
to
do.
you, but
You will have some time
we'll
to
talk it out.
talk amongst yourselves when we get back. We're going to take about a 10-minute break. We will see you on the other side.
Actually, gotta run and get a quick drink.
And we're back. You all have been left alone. Not alone. There's still a couple of orc guards just outside the door and just inside the door in this large area. But for the most part, it's just you, and there's a couple of human servers that are refreshing your drinks and stuff like that. But Roniker, Rhaegar, and Yeltha have left. What would you like to do?
Well, friends, I think we should finish this smorgasbord here, get our strength back, and then maybe, I don't know, have a few drinks and go to sleep. Right?
so what'd your family have to say?
My family? Them? You heard what he said. They need our help. And I would lean into Vornush'ka and I'd be like, whether or not we stay around to help is a matter for, I think, more in private. And she would, like, look over at the people who are still in this longhouse. No, my family, he's obviously, distantly related. Not really related at all, I guess, but anyway, I guess he's found his way to power. I tried to let all that whole life go when I left, but sticks with you, I guess. It all comes back around.
You can take the girl out of the orc tribe, but you can't take the orc tribe out of the girl.
As the old saying goes.
Is there anything more they said and wanted beside our help?
And Teera would look knowingly at Vornush'ka and be like, there were a couple other things, I suppose. And she would, like, look at Vornush'ka, look at her axe, and then she would, like, nod over at our new frickin' dragon friend. What's her name again?
Cleandra.
And would kind of, like, nod over at her and be like, yes, I think there is quite a laundry list of things that they want. So, until we have our next sit down with them, I say that we avail ourselves of all these meats and cheeses and drinks. Okay?
I think Marda is going to turn to Cleandra. There was something that was said that had quite a reaction with you.
That orc invoked my full name.
I think you're muted, Jake.
Yeah, I think I can't hear you.
Hello?
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 There you are.
We also lost the music for a second. I think you went into producer mode for a second.
That was weird because I didn't touch anything. I didn't do anything different on either side of that little glitch. She says, that orc invoked my full name. But it was more than that. He said my name with the authority that can only come from somebody who has been given my true magical name. It took everything I had in me to keep from transforming in front of him. I don't know if he suspects it's me, but he anticipated that I was here, or he would never have invoked that name.
When he was speaking, he didn't look at her, because Marda was paying attention to him. Did he look at her more often, or did she notice anything about that?
I think that initially he looked at her, it was actually Yeltha that was looking more with curiosity when Teera introduced her as your new friend who you recently met. But Roniker his eyes were flitting between Cleandra, Flip, and Kane. Actually, and you. It seems the only ones he didn't suspect were the orc and his tribal cousin. So yeah, it wasn't that he was singling her out specifically, but based on what she's saying, he believed that the last dragon was amongst your group.
And I heard the part about the Horgle Skull Smasher, correct?
You heard everything. You were standing right there.
Okay. I think I got up when you said that, so I had to make sure.
Probably.
Nope, you were literally a foot behind me.
Okay. So
that's it. We're like the whole conversation
like,
that you were there
what
for
did they
gets
say?
done.
I'm like,
You're like, yeah. What?
Okay.
What happened?
Now we're gonna say.
Were you not paying attention?
listen,
Sometimes-
Vornush'ka just zoned out. It happens.
Vornush'ka is ADHD.
Now
No.
we're back on the same page.
There we go.
Okay.
We're all reconvening. If only with our minds.
So
Well,
go ahead, Marda. Sorry.
well, then you did a very good job to not transform. At least dissuade his suspicion for a little bit.
Can I real quick, as the conversations are getting a little bit more like personal and planning and secretive, Teera would go over to the couple of people that are still in this longhouse and just kind of like very politely ask if they are willing to step outside so our party can have a little privacy.
Vornush'ka will follow Teera and maybe throw them a couple pieces of gold and say, "Go take a walk on us."
Teera, you would notice that as you walk up and ask them to leave, they were already starting to do as you said.
Nice.
But they gladly take the gold that Vornush'ka offers them. And
God damn it! Vornush'ka and her lack of money sense strikes again.
you recognize
No
that
difference.
these lower ranked orcs, because of your position in the tribe, as an adopted niece of the previous chief and as Roniker's cousin and everything, that you carry, your word carries some sway around here.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Vornush'ka's gold was just a little icing on the cake as
Absolutely.
they turn and leave. The only people in here are the occasional human man or woman that comes through to fill drinks.
So just now we can talk a little bit more freely. And Teera would kind of return to the table and just sort of drink and be with her own thoughts and listen.
Flip is going to stand up, and he is going to cast Detect Magic.
Nice.
Okay. Is that? I'm trying to see how that works in.
Presence or magic, absence of magic.
You send out a pulse that registers the presence of magic. What's the range on the
30-foot emanation.
And you learn. Okay, that's where it's a little different. So you can determine if there's
It's binary.
magic items,
It's binary.
and then
That's
at heightened levels, you can learn the school of magic and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
I'm choosing to ignore magic I'm aware of, so anything on my allies. Just looking to see if there's any magic anywhere else.
As you are reaching out, I would say the only thing that you register, and it registers, I'm going to say that it registers so powerfully that it almost causes you to wince a little bit, in the same way that if you suddenly point a microphone at the speaker and you get that burst of feedback, just for a moment, as you realize that Cleandra is registering as very powerful magic, but nothing else in the vicinity of your spell is ringing magical.
All right, well, I'll walk around and make sure I've got the whole area covered, just recasting it, but okay, and I'll exclude her from future
I
casting.
would say then, just kind of walking around, you might pick up on elsewhere beyond this immediate room. You're getting detections of like healing potions and things like that. Very minor magical effects.
Okay.
Teera would look over her shoulder and be like, "Well, Flip, is it all clear?"
As far as I can tell,
And she would smile and she would be
except
like,
for our new friend over here who was lit up like a holiday bush.
"Holiday bush?"
Yeah, you never did that when you were a kid? You put like dried fruit on the bush and you sort of dance around chanting, "Death to our enemies, this is what we wish. Death to our enemies." No?
No, I didn't do that.
Gotta
That
tell you, it
sounds
was
like
fun.
a goblin thing.
It was a lot of fun. The holiday bush.
Sounds like fun. Next winter we'll have to do holiday bush.
That's a summer thing.
Oh,
Yeah. It
I
was
don't know
like you
why
do
I
it on the
assumed it was winter. It's
yeah.
weird.
You do it in the solstice, and it's
Oh.
like when the day is the brightest, you get the bush, and then you get everybody chanting, "Death to our enemies, death to our enemies."
That's nice. That's catchy. I like
You
it.
know what? It really is catchy. I didn't write that one myself, but it sounds like I did because it's such an ear flip.
Flip, don't get your feelings hurt by the way that they never heard of you. They're a bunch of big lunking just lugs. They're not really into the arts.
I am pretty famous, and we'll see. We'll see if I believe them. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention.
They were probably just pretending they weren't as starstruck as they were.
I mean, when you're the most famous guy, when you walk in every room, it's tough,
Cool.
Vornush'ka is thinking to herself that, okay, Tolga Skull Smasher.
Who?
She's thinking to herself, not my top pick, but
not on the A team.
but in order of holding the tribe until I get back, after I finish my mission with Vorn, His head will make a worthy trophy that can reassert the dominance. Okay, this will be fine for now. Tribe has decent leadership until I return.
Oh, you knew that your tribe was here.
My tribe is here.
Yeah, you didn't see them? They're sort of like right around the corner, down the alleyway.
Wait a minute, was I thinking out loud? Dang it.
Weren't you thinking
Inner
out loud?
dialogue, inner dialogue, outer dialogue.
Vornush'ka, you make this face when you're really thinking hard about something. It's kind of obvious. I've never told you until now, but
And
it's
apparently I
very-
say my thoughts out loud as well. Jesus Christ,
It's
okay.
just your face scrunches up like a raisin, like a dried apricot, and it makes it very obvious when you're thinking on something hard.
Dried apricot.
You know, this might be the opportunity. If the pressures of leadership were too much, you could just leave and never look back.
What tell you?
If you didn't want to go back, Vornush'ka, you're always worried about leading the tribe, and it seems to dictate your every fucking move. It's a lot. Maybe you could leave it with Torgal and, you know, I don't know, stay with us. What?
One, it is a duty I willingly and happily take on.
What, stay with us?
That's something I tolerate. I'm talking about being the tribe chief.
Oh, okay, you weren't very specific. That's just, while we're having this open dialogue, I figured we should have clear
Dangling
and honest,
participles.
transparent communication.
It's okay, Vornush'ka, I didn't mean any offense. I'm just saying.
No, it's a lot to consider right now.
Teera, make a perception check, please.
Hi. Here I go.
Here I go.
Oh shit! I choked. Hold on. God damn it. I dropped it. Oh lord, that ain't good. Okay, we're gonna go round 2. Here we go. Perception 33.
As you all are talking, you've had this one, you're in the desert. You're in this this orcish sort of longhouse. You smell the burning wood of the fire, and you smell, quite frankly, the bodies of hundreds of orcs and others, as well as your own smells around you. The fermented yak's milk, some of the meat that's been laid out before you, but weaving its way into your nostrils is a smell that doesn't belong amongst all of these smells. It reminds you of springtime in the city. Apples, cinnamon. You smell fey cakes, aka D&D donuts.
What?
I didn't want to say it, but that's
The Mug Club?
You're that was the fey cakes were from the
different
neighboring
stand.
stall, but
Okay.
you smell the smell of autumn Spark Hearth's fey cakes, as
You're
one of
fucking
the
kidding me.
human servants lays out a tray, and it's just heaped with these what look big, chunky, glazed
Apple fritters.
apple fritters.
Oh, now I gotta get one. Look what you've done.
This glorious smell wafts into Teera's nose, and she would grab like whatever servant they brought them. Teera would like grab their arm and be like, "Where did you get these at? Who made these?"
Oh, these are fey cakes from Autumn's Cakes and Donuts in the Oosefront Market.
You are shitting me.
Now, her and her husband have a stand. They sell hot and cold drinks and donuts and things like that. Every once in a while, for guests, Vornush'ka likes to lay out fake cakes. It puts them in a good mood, and they smell better than the orcs around here. I'm sorry, no offense. And he immediately kind of cowers, like he's expecting to get backhanded or something.
And Teera would realize she's freaking gripping this dude and just kind of like let him go and be like, "Thank you, we appreciate it, and don't worry." Vornush'ka is told all the time that she stinks, aren't you, Vornush'ka? Can't hear you. There's some kind of an enchantment in here.
I can never inner dialogue or dialogue. I get told I stink. Somebody's what one would say is projecting. Projecting. That's what one would say. You're projecting.
The servant looks at you, Teera, and just says, "Look, if you're interested in them, they have a white and green market stall down on the Ooze front."
Yeah. We've actually been there before. I was so stunned I couldn't believe my couldn't believe my nose.
You've been here in Erglin before.
No, we've seen
you would have encountered them in Absalom.
Yes, we've been to Absalom. We've seen their hot and cold drinks and their fake cakes and all that. We've been to a stand of theirs.
Absalom's a long way from here. No matter, we're lucky to have them, and at Vornush'ka's pleasure, enjoy.
Thank you again.
Flip, where did you see my banner for the Blood Axe tribe?
I mean, sort of around the corner, down the hall. I was debating on whether I was going to tell you about it or not. But then I realized I didn't really care.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Down the corner and around the hall.
Yeah. I mean, I can take you there. It's not that hard, but it's like, you got to go left and then go right. Make a turn at the fancy orc lingerie market.
Yes, take
There's
me
lots
there
of leather
once.
and metal.
As there is.
Yeah, sure. Let's go. And Flip will begin leading the way.
You two going somewhere?
Were you not just listening to our conversation?
No.
This room is 10 feet. How would you? Yes.
Far be it from you to understand, but I was thinking about things other than you and Vornush'ka. I was lost in my thoughts.
Well, I find that hard to believe. But
Go fuck yourself, Flip. Go fuck yourself.
I mean, it's not time for that. Maybe later. I'm gonna go show Vornush'ka where the Blood Axe tribe is.
Do you want to come?
Not particularly. Don't get yourselves killed.
I mean, I know I'll be fine.
I think I'm just gonna stay here for a bit. I got some thinking to do.
I'm gonna buy some donuts.
No, I'm not gonna buy any donuts.
Why would you buy donuts? There's literally a couple dozen donuts here.
Heaping tray right here. Anyway, I just kind of want to rest and like I said, I want to think a little bit.
Don't hurt yourself, Teera. Get it? Because thinking's not a muscle you use that often. So it's like, when you're exercising for the first time in a while, the muscle actually hurts more because you haven't done it.
Yeah, it's one of those things like when your entire childhood just fucking shows up again and punches you right in the mouth.
At that point,
it's one of those things.
At that point, Kane comes over by you, Teera, and he looks down at you, Flip, and he just says, it's okay to not say every thought that comes into your mind.
Oh, I don't. Because if I did, I would think to myself, hey, remember that time I prevented Kane from dying? I'd remind you way more often than I have.
And I
thank you.
thank
And then Flip
you.
is going to turn around and he's going to start walking toward the Blood Axe tribe.
Don't get yourselves killed now.
Bye!
Keen looks at you, Teera, and just says, one of these days.
I don't know.
One of
I'm a
these
little bit
days,
afraid.
something's
I'm a
going to
little bit
happen
afraid.
to that goblin. And that he's going to be lucky that I owe him. You all right?
And Teera would look at him and just... It's strange. I mean, the last time I saw them, I didn't know about you. It's like the past and the present mixing together, and I feel like I should just fucking... I want to beat the shit out of Yaltha, specifically. And fucking Rhaegar, and fucking Ronica, but I feel like doing that would be acting like a child, and I don't want to act like a child, but gods know they deserve it.
I think
It's
it would
weird.
get you killed, too. Kind of in the
There is
Viper's
also
den,
that.
so to speak.
There is also that. I don't know. That's where I'm at, and it's taken me some time to focus on and think about. And I think I am going to drink until it becomes easier to think about.
Well, for what it's worth, I don't think we should spend too much time.
I agree.
I mean, we've got some time before the blood moon, but do we really want to get caught up in their affairs?
Teera would smile, and she would like grab Kane's like elbow, and she'd be like, "They made it very clear many years ago that I was not one of them, and that I had no business in orc affairs. And that is gonna come back to bite them right now, because we're gonna eat this meat and cheese, and we're gonna drink their drinks, and then we're gonna fucking split."
Be careful. You made it seem like you were already, as if you were a part of the tribe, and there's no question that you'll be helping, so that we might have a bit more trouble leaving than you think. We might have to leave under cover of darkness, or go good night's sleep. That's what it comes down to. I mean, I'll do whatever you want. You're essentially my ride.
That's all fun by me. I don't know them a damn thing.
Whatever you decide, I've got your back. And he just kind of puts his hand on your shoulder.
Teera would smile and then just kind of go back to... She's kind of just staring into the middle distance, like eating and drinking and thinking, and yeah.
Marda. Leandra, kind of while this conversation's happening, is still sort of just explaining to you a little bit of what happened, and just says, I don't know how he got these words and the power behind them. But if he were to use them, if he were successful, it would be more than just forcing me to reveal my true form. If I'm not strong enough to resist, I think he might be able to bind me to his service. By invoking my true name in its entirety. She looks scared.
How does one get this kind of information?
Of that I am not sure. It's supposed to be a closely guarded secret. But when my mother was killed, I don't know what the circumstances of her death were. I doubt she would have given that information willingly, but somehow they've extracted it. They've gained possession of it I thought I would be safe here under their nose. They don't know. But if they suspect that I'm here, I don't know if he'll do it again.
Is there any way to protect you?
Perhaps.
Prevent?
Perhaps. Magic that I don't fully understand. If there's something that can obscure who I am, nature.
Because we cannot have it where he just has to say a couple words and all of a sudden now you are some big dragon and, you know.
Very inconvenient.
I do know that it is the magic that's involved in what he attempted. He masked it very well. You notice that very quickly after he failed to reveal me, he left. That kind of magic drains the person. It's not something he could just do at a whim. He took a great risk even attempting it. If I were stronger and had resisted more powerfully, he may even have been knocked unconscious or died in his attempt. But I don't think I'm that strong.
Well, as he said, he's been looking for you for 6 months. He was probably desperate. Most certainly desperate.
That's not me they care about. My ancestral treasure hoard. I'm the only one that knows. And then she just kind of... She's also just kind of staring. She's more like staring at the table and just kind of absently picking at one of these fey cakes. She seems partially lost in thought, but also that look of somebody that they're trying to figure out what to do, but she seems every bit the Asimir 16-year-old that she looks like. Although now she looks more human than Asimir. She just looks like a little teenage girl that doesn't even have enough experience to know what her options are or how to do anything. She looks scared and lost.
But as long as you are with us, we will protect you. So you do not need to worry about that. We will not let anything or anyone get any information from you, get the possession of you. We will figure it out. And she puts a reassuring hand on Cleandra. Your job is to think about anywhere that you might be safe, anywhere that you can go to, or might be able to go eventually, that might be able to hide you away or keep you safe. Like I said, we will do our best. As long as you are with us, we will keep you safe, but I do not think you want to come with us forever, so we have to find a solution quickly. And I don't particularly want to kill a bunch of orcs. I will if I have to, but ideally we get you away and we get you safe from them.
You've only just met me. Why are you putting yourself at risk to protect me?
There are very few moments in our life where we are able to make a difference or to protect people that we care about. If there is, I have learned that sometimes you just need to trust your gut. At worst, let you either betray us or maybe we die trying to protect you. Stuff like that happens all the time, but at best, you have done something meaningful. We have done something important in the universe, and I think that that has much greater effect than whatever can come. And if we hesitate for a moment, then that opportunity can be lost. And so I am listening to my gut, and my gut says that your story, that your importance will have a lot of meaning and will have a lot of impact and will help me protect something that I haven't been able to in the past. I think like Marda like looks away at like this sudden like just outburst of in like her inner thoughts as she. And it is not fair for a bunch of orcs to go after a young girl. That's just rude. She says as she
Her demeanor has changed. She's looking at you now with admiration, but also determination. And she reaches out and takes your hand again. And she almost looks like she's holding back tears as she places her hand on yours. And as she does so, you feel like when somebody grabs your hand and they're like with their thumb, they just sort of, move it around a little bit. She's kind of doing that, and then she mumbles something under her breath in Draconic. Do you speak Draconic? I can't remember.
No.
So you don't pick up on what she's saying. She just mutters something. And then she says, still holding your hand, "Thank you. As much as I am able to, I will protect you." And as she says this, you feel not a pulse, not a jolt, but you feel a gentle warmth of a magic spell spreading out from her hand. And it goes up your arm, and you feel it kind of, as it hits your shoulders, it goes across to your other arm, covers your head and your entire body. It's just this sudden warmth of, as if you were suddenly stepped into the sunlight. As a caster, you recognize this not only as a magic spell, but a powerful magic spell. Until I tell you otherwise, you have resistance 5 to acid, cold, electricity, fire, force, negative, positive, and sonic energy.
Yeah.
You can make an Arcana check if you would like.
Jesus.
Who would? The 21.
That's going to be... You're not entirely familiar with this spell. But you know that it is very close to some of the more powerful magic that is even possible to be cast. Mechanically speaking, she has cast a 7th level spell on.
Ew.
And I put all of the text of that in the chat so you know which one. So it's until I tell you otherwise, this spell is protecting. We cut now to the exterior as Flip and Vornush'ka are making their way through
The buddy comedy is beginning.
making their way through the streets of Erglin.
Making our way through the streets of Erglin.
Making our way down camp, looking for blood and some axes also.
And I wonder who took my place in the tribe.
But I thought they told you
Yeah, here
it was Torgo.
You two are
So
singing
why
as
are
you're
you
walking.
wondering?
Several orcs are giving you weird looks.
Because I set up different people in line. The fuck am I singing for? Hold on.
There was a plan.
Secession.
Well, if I cared, I'd keep talking, but I don't. So let's walking.
Ba-na-na-na-na. Ba-na-na-na-na-na.
Sorry. Goddamn. Amazing. Amazing.
weirdly, nobody's giving you weird looks.
No, there's.
This is, like I said, this is the fantasy equivalent of Mos Eisley. This is like something out of
delightful.
Star Wars or Mad Max kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's an eclectic city of mostly ne'er-do-wells.
So just so I'm on the same page as you, Vornush'ka,
Yes.
when they inevitably turn on you for leaving them and whatnot, you're not expecting me to back you up, right? I'm just gonna.
No, and in fact, I have questions for the Skull Smasher. I left people in charge, so I'm wondering why he is running the show right now.
You hear Teera in the back of your head going, "While you're here, you're just an orc. Just an orc. Just an orc. Just an orc."
I mean, probably killed them and took control.
We will see.
I mean, yeah, we will. That's why we're going there.
Well, I left. The people I left in charge was Jarok.
Yeah, good old Jarok, of course. Great choice.
A+.
And my trusted cousin Martik. So I shall see what happened.
Martik with
But
the long arms? Is that the one?
No, Martik, first of all, does not have long arms. She is... Okay, yes. Her arms are long, but she doesn't like people to call it out for her.
But that reach advantage, it's just, in a close battle, reach matters. Especially if you're hand to hand.
I tell her
I
this
mean,
all the time, but she's
oh,
sensitive about it.
Full weapons take that advantage away. Sensitive, my god. Why wouldn't you celebrate that from the sky?
I mean, her name literally means long-armed woman, so it kind of gets old.
I mean, as it should be.
I'm starting to think Flip understands orc culture more than we give him credit for.
Flip, you seem to understand orc culture very well. More than I took you for understanding.
I don't understand why you don't just assume I know everything until proven otherwise. Really, if you started there, you'd be wrong less often.
Correct. Give me a minute. I want
Not that
to-
I would know about what being wrong is typically. So this is my assumption anyway. I don't know. We'll leave it to you.
Yeah.
Wrong people.
And as we approach the banners of my tribe.
Oh, you're nowhere near the banners of your tribe yet.
Oh, how much further do we have to walk?
I need Flip to make a survival check to see how well you can navigate your way back to this thing you saw for about 4 seconds.
Okay. I can't make another kind of check, like society or bardic lore to sort of
Bardic lore is not going to
recall
help
the
you
knowledge. Recall the knowledge.
here. Bardic lore is not going to help you here.
Intelligence.
Society is not going to help you here.
God, there's action music. Did they get in a fight? Did I miss
No,
something?
this is
What
not
happened?
action music. This is the upbeat
Oh.
music.
Oh, okay. Whew. Whew.
Flip, you said it was down the hall and around the corner. We are down the hall and around the corner. Where is it?
No, it's definitely going to be a survival check.
Okay. I mean, look, there's a lot of camps. So give me a second. This isn't
You
exactly
just
my
said it.
best skill.
You said it with so much confidence and surety. You acted like you knew exactly where it was at.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think I was going to have to make a roll.
Do you feel that? Do you
10.
feel that feeling?
You, as you're walking around, you realize everywhere you look, you just see some of these different banners, and you see lots of different orcs and half orcs, a few giants, or giant kin and ogre kin through here.
Flip, we should just ask somebody.
Totally. Excuse me.
There's also, just to set the scene a little bit, this isn't all just like tribal things. There's interspersed throughout this entire area, there are taverns, gambling halls, that kind of thing. There's
Is
a
it
few
Orc Vegas?
shops like armorers, like blacksmiths.
Or
and-
Reno.
Reno?
No, definitely not Vegas or Reno.
Orc Miami.
It's more like Orc South Detroit.
Well, everything with orcs is South Detroit. And up East Detroit. So.
Okay, so, excuse me. We are looking for the Blood Axe tribe. I saw the banner, but I rolled a 10, and I didn't quite make it.
Best of us.
The person you approach is sort of hunched over doing something, and as you say this, they turn around and they kind of stand up to their full height, which is even taller than Vornush'ka. You see that this is a ogre woman.
Wow.
She looks down at you. At first, she looks around for who said something, and then she looks down at you. What did you say?
Flip is kind of gonna give her the eye, and he's
Which
gonna
eye?
say the old.
Okay. That eye.
That one. Got it.
And he's gonna say, "Well, beautiful, I was looking for the Blood Axe tribe. Now I think I might be looking for you."
M's face.
I was just like, oh Christ. Where's this going?
Just because I want you to make a charisma check.
It looked like she was
yeah,
checking
I love
food in
it.
the
I love it so
refrigerator.
much.
That was
As I do that, he's gonna say, I am Flip, renowned on 3 continents for a variety of skills. And let's make a roll. Deception. I'm gonna use a tome.
You say you're rolling deception?
Yeah, because I just talked about how I was a master on 3 continents. You know, size doesn't matter. 30. Because I can use my deception as persuasion.
She's looks down at you and kind of cocks her head. You're looking for the Blood Axe tribe, you said?
That's what I said at first, yeah?
So, well, what are you going to do if you find them?
Well, personally, I'm just going to stand there. I might go in, I'll probably have a drink. I'll mingle a little bit. People tend to like me because I'm a good talker and generally considered to be exceedingly charming. Really a bit of a magnet at parties. People tend to crowd around me because they like to hear me talk.
She reaches her hand down and puts her giant ogre finger to your lips like this.
It's like his whole face.
She says,
Like putting a salami on someone's face.
Boom.
if you're bored and you're looking for some place to mingle and have a drink, well, you found the right place. I'm Eartha.
Well,
With a U.
Eartha. Hello. I am more
It's
than
in
pleased.
me and you.
Flip is
We're-
going to say, well, as I may have mentioned, my name is Flip the Mighty, and his cape billows behind him. He said I would happily join you for a drink. I have to escort my associate here to the Blood Axe tribe, but I will return post haste.
Then I will eagerly await your arrival.
Right. This is a bit awkward. I'm not so good with directions. Are you able to draw me a map to make sure I can find my way back here? Really, directions is literally the only thing I'm not a master of.
With your permission.
Yeah.
And she's reaching her hands down like to lift you up.
Well, I'm into it. Okay. Let's do this.
Like a baby.
She reaches down and she gently kind of places you into one of her hands and is holding your back with the other. And she raises you up above her hand, so you're now like 12 feet in the air. And she kind of, you see her looking, and then she turns you and points you in the right direction, and you can now see about 4 or 5, the equivalent of 4 or 5 blocks away. You can see that Blood Axe banner between a couple of buildings.
Okay.
You see it?
I do. But before you put me down, inspiration has struck. Just a moment.
Band just struck up nearby.
I don't use this
Yeah.
playlist
Horse
very
band.
often, so I'm not entirely sure what all tracks are in
Great,
here.
I love it.
You have shown me the world. I see the Blood Axe tribe. Now I know how to get there, but more important, I know how to get back. You showed me the way, but more importantly, showed me your hearts. I shall return, my loins will burn, and then we'll have a drink all day and night. Okay, you can put me down now.
Weirdly, during this musical thing, in Eartha's and maybe in Flip's eyes, all of the crowd has disappeared, and it's just Eartha and Flip, and Eartha's holding Flip's hands and spinning around in a circle, and it's the two of them sitting up on top of a building looking out over the desert.
There's
And
a whole montage. I love it.
every Disney trope is taking place right
Yes.
now.
100%.
And then like Vornush'ka kind of like goes okay, and like I imagine the illusion breaking for a moment. Can we go now?
It's like in West Side Story where they go, "Wah!" and everybody's back in normal speed. Yes. Yes.
Eartha gently sets you down and sets you down in a way that with one hand still on your shoulder, she just bends down and points that way.
So
I'll be back.
You turn 180 degrees and follow that direction back to me later.
Oh, I will.
After we get like a couple of paces down the road, Vornush'ka kind of feels that touch of high school jealousy when you had a friend that you made out with once or twice, and then all of a sudden that friend flirted with someone else. You're like,
Ooh.
even though we weren't official, but how dare you?
Yeah. Oh,
and it's
yeah.
juvenile. And
you guys have had
it
a
doesn't have
musical
any
number.
basis. And Vornush'ka looks down at Flip and says, "I could buy a lambskin suit if you want." It's very snarky.
As Vornush'ka says this to you, Flip, you notice that the around Vornush'ka and you, a sudden gust of wind just sort of comes in and kind of kicks up dust and a couple swirling eddies. And then you hear this sort of whip cracking sound of the nearby banners getting caught up in a gust of wind. And it dies for just a moment, and then another gust comes through, and more dust is being kicked up. And you see around you that people are starting to pull cloaks and pull face masks up over their mouth and nose, and people are starting to move with purpose towards their various enclosures. As behind Vornush'ka, as you're looking up at Vornush'ka, you can you have this little bit of a clear way towards one of the outer edges of Erglin, and you can see where the blue sky just over Vornush'ka's shoulders is a large brownish gray cloud of dust. A dust storm has kicked up in the desert and is moving toward Erglin. Inside the tent, the sort of main hall where Kane, Teera, Marda, and Cleandra are, you notice that some of the leather and cloth hangings are starting to whip around, and you see those guards that you sent out, they come back in, and they begin barking orders, and the servants start clearing tables of everything, and some orcs start coming out, and they start moving, like pulling down from inside these wood and bone shutters that have leather draped across them, with like, you ever seen those when towns stretch the banner across the road and they have those little hole flaps that are deliberately in there to keep the wind from like treating it like a sail? Those are in these things. And one of the orcs just looks at you and says, "Sandstorm's coming."
Where does Ronica want us to shack up for the night, eh? Should probably get there before the sandstorm kicks up, right?
You can get there from inside here. And he barks over to one of the servants and tells them, "Take them to where Ronica set them up." And the same servant that told you about the Autumn Sparkhearth's fake cakes motions you to follow him. And as you're sort of moving through this area, you definitely can feel wherever all these gaps and stuff are. You even hear now the creaking of the bone and wood and stuff as the wind is picking up. And around you, Vornush'ka and Flip, you see as a couple of banners get caught in the wind and just go flying across, as a big cloud of dust kicks up and sand and debris goes flying in your faces. And as this is all happening, we sort of see the camera panning up from the city, and you see this whole city of Erglin and the movement, not just in Warmouth, but you can now see where the river runs through from west to east. And you can see the market where people are furiously closing up their stalls on either side of the Ooze River. And you can see around in the northern areas where people are shuddering and trying to take shelter as the camera rises higher and pans off, and you see a miles wide sandstorm, easily a mile or two high, is coming right towards Erglin. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Oh, shit. Remember trying to leave? I think that's going to be an issue. Woof.
All right.
Amazing. Well done. Well done.
Good stuff. Little bit of lore drops this session.
Yeah, no shit.
And yeah, War Chief Roniker almost captured himself a dragon. So,
Yikes.
all right, well, we'll see what happens with the sandstorm next week, as I do my best to avoid calling next week's episode Darude Sandstorm. No lie, a version of that has been my wake up alarm tone for like 10
fair.
years on my phone.
That's fair.
But anyway, yeah, thanks everybody who tuned in. Once again, at the end here, I'm just going to remind everybody, I'll drop the link. If you head over to YouTube, you can catch the VOD of all of our games, but also the newest VOD, The Legend of Eleonora, The Light of the Child, our charity game that raised $32,000 this weekend for Pavlov Foundation. The donation link is still live if you want to support Pavlov and our efforts. That will be going on for another couple of weeks at least. There are some high value prizes and a couple other. I think there's a $25 donation, get you a limited edition Legend of Eleonora poster, painted and designed by Julia Madalena, an excellent artist. So please do check that out. Tune in tomorrow night, where we will be back with Sky Metal Iron Gods, which is now a 5e campaign. And then Thursday, you can catch us here again for our Kids on Bikes RPG game, Welcome to Paradise, Michigan. So you'll see a couple of familiar faces from this game in that game as well. I hope to see you at those games. Thanks everybody who has been hanging out with us. Thanks to Dimension 119 for the raid earlier. Thanks for bringing your audience over here and sharing with us. And if you're somebody that likes to lurk in the chat, we appreciate you, of course, and hope you enjoy the show. Or if you're watching with us later on YouTube in the VOD, come join us live sometime. That's your thing. If not, we hope you keep enjoying the VODs. Otherwise, I just want to say a huge thank you. As always, I seriously could consider myself very lucky to get to play with these wonderful people so often. It's awesome to have great people that you can, you're going to have a good game. Some great role players and just all around good people. So as always, a huge thank you to Gary, Cari, M, Ricky, and though he hasn't been with us for a while, he's still with us in spirit, Dwight, without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.